History has seen countless warriors, but among them stands one man whose courage, intelligence, and faith made him truly unique. A man so brave that even his enemies admired him. A warrior so devoted to Islam that the Prophet Muhammad himself gave him the title Saifullah, the sword of Allah. This is the story of Hazrat Khalid bin Waleed R.A., the man who never lost a single battle. Khalid bin Waleed was born in the Quraysh tribe of Makkah, one of the most powerful tribes of Arabia. His father, Waleed ibn al-Mughira, was a respected leader known for his wealth and influence. Khalid grew up surrounded by luxury, horses, and training grounds. From a young age, he showed incredible talent in horse riding, archery, and sword fighting. He was strong, tall, and fearless, a natural warrior. Even before Islam, the people of Makkah admired him for his intelligence and courage. But at that time, Khalid was not a Muslim. When Prophet Muhammad began calling people to Islam, the Quraysh saw it as a threat to their power. Khalid, being loyal to his tribe, stood against the Muslims. He fought against them in several battles, including one of the most famous, the Battle of Uhud. In the Battle of Uhud, Khalid was the leader of the Quraysh cavalry. With sharp planning and timing, he saw an opportunity when the Muslim archers left their positions. Khalid led his horsemen around the mountain and attacked from behind, turning the tide of battle. It was a difficult day for the Muslims, and Khalid played a major role in it. At that time, he was fighting against Islam, but destiny had chosen a very different path for him. After the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, Khalid began to think deeply about Islam. He watched how the Muslims carried themselves with discipline and unity. He saw how the Prophet Muhammad forgave even his enemies, and how Islam brought justice and peace to everyone. Slowly, his heart began to soften. One night, he thought to himself, I have fought against the truth long enough. Muhammad is indeed the messenger of Allah. Why am I resisting what is so clear? The next morning, Khalid decided to leave Mecca quietly and travel to Medina. On his way, he met two other Quraysh nobles, Amr ibn al-As and Uthman ibn Talha, who also wanted to embrace Islam. Together, they went to Medina and accepted Islam in the presence of the Prophet. When Khalid entered, the Prophet smiled and said, Welcome, O Khalid. I always knew that a man of your wisdom and courage would one day recognize the truth. Khalid felt a great weight lift from his heart. He said, O Messenger of Allah, please pray that Allah forgives me for the wrongs I have done. The Prophet replied, Islam wipes away all that came before it. From that day, Khalid bin Waleed dedicated his life to Islam. He became one of the greatest commanders the world has ever seen. His first test came soon after in the Battle of Mu'tah. This battle was against the powerful Byzantine Empire. The Muslims were only 3,000, while the Byzantines had more than 100,000 soldiers. One by one, the three Muslim commanders were martyred. In that moment of chaos, Khalid took command. He used clever strategies, changing the army's formation, creating dust clouds to confuse the enemy, and retreating safely without letting them realize it was a withdrawal. The Muslims returned home safely, thanks to his leadership. When the Prophet Muhammad heard what happened, he said, Khalid has taken the sword of Allah, and Allah's sword will never be broken. That was the moment when Khalid bin Waleed was given his eternal title, Saifullah, the sword of Allah. After the Prophet's passing, Khalid continued to serve Islam under the leadership of Caliph Abu Bakr, A.A. During this time, many tribes in Arabia rebelled against Islam. Khalid was sent to bring them back, and he did so with both wisdom and strength. He defeated false prophets like Musaylimah in the Battle of Yamama, one of the most intense battles in Islamic history. Thousands of Muslims were martyred, but victory came through Khalid's courage and tactics. Then came the campaigns in Iraq and Syria. Khalid led the Muslim armies against the Persian Empire and the Byzantine Empire, two of the greatest powers of that time. In the Battle of Wallaha, he surrounded a much larger army by dividing his troops into multiple units and attacking from all sides, a move that shocked even his enemies. In the Battle of Yarmouk, his genius and leadership crushed the Byzantine forces once again, ensuring Muslim control over Syria. What made Khalid truly extraordinary was not only his victories but his deep faith. He never claimed credit for his success. He always said, Victory is from Allah alone. He prayed regularly, treated his soldiers fairly, and never fought for personal gain. Even his enemies respected his honor. Many times, enemy generals said, Khalid does not fight for gold or power, he fights for his faith. When Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab R.A. became leader, he made a surprising decision. He removed Khalid from his position as commander. People were shocked, but Umar explained that he did it to remind the Muslims that victory comes from Allah, not from any one man. Khalid accepted this decision with complete humility. He said, "I fight for Allah, not for Umar." And even without his official position, he continued to serve the army with full devotion. In his later years, Khalid's life became quiet. He spent his time in worship, remembering Allah, and reflecting on his journey. Though his sword had fought in over 100 battles, he never lost once. He was deeply respected across the Muslim world. As death approached, Khalid lay on his bed in Homs, Syria. His body was covered with scars, every mark a reminder of his bravery. He looked down at his wounds and said, "I have fought in so many battles, and there is no space on my body without a wound made by a sword or an arrow. Yet here I am dying on my bed like an old camel." May the eyes of cowards never sleep. His eyes filled with tears, not from fear, but from longing to meet Allah and His Messenger. When he passed away, the Muslims wept deeply. Even Umar said, "Women will never give birth to a man like Khalid again." Hazrat Khalid Bin Waleed was buried in Homs, where his grave remains a place of remembrance to this day. His sword may have been laid to rest, but his spirit continues to inspire every believer who stands firm for truth. Khalid bin Waleed was not just a warrior. He was a believer who fought with faith, lived with humility, and died with honor. He taught the world that true strength does not come from armies or weapons, but from faith and trust in Allah. His story reminds us that even those who once opposed Islam can become its greatest defenders when guided by the truth. He turned from an enemy into a hero, from a fighter of the truth to its protector. He showed that faith can transform hearts and change the course of history. Khalid bin Waleed, the sword of Allah, remains a symbol of courage, loyalty, and devotion. His name will forever shine in the pages of Islamic history, inspiring generations to come.